All right, Ryan. Well, you're going to talk to us about some breaking news out of Niger. You're in France right now, so actually sort of well placed. What have you got for us?
Yeah, so the French interests in Africa have been challenged a lot the last couple of years, and we're going to get into where that all's coming from, where it might be going. We can put up R1 here. Europeans, particularly French people, are now being evacuated from Niger after a coup. Last week, and protests against kind of French, what they call occupation, the presence of French troops inside France. And it's not just the French. If you can put up R2 here, the U.S. has a military presence in Niger as well. And reporting here from CNN that U.S. troops are being restricted to the American base as things get tense in the country. Part of the politics that are unfolding here are related to, believe it or not, the Wagner Group. The Wagner Group has been heavily active in Russia and has been able to kind of fill a vacuum that's been created by a lot of anti-French hostility that stems not just from the colonial hangover, but more recently related to kind of the French and incumbent government's inability to put down the Islamic extremist militant movements. And put up R3 here. This has been in Niger and other surrounding countries a huge kind of boon for the Wagner Group and for Russia. And as you see another great game playing out between the United States, France, Russia, China, to try to get a sense of kind of where we're talking about and what's going on. I assume not everybody knows exactly where we're talking about. And if you what's key here, and I'm going to get into this in a minute, is the country just to the northeast of Niger. That is Libya. And the crisis in Libya that was fueled by the French and supported by the United States. In the U.S., we think about it as just a U.S. kind of run operation against Gaddafi. It was really kind of French run with U.S. support, and that is how it's viewed kind of in Central Africa. And so the U.S. did itself no favors supporting that. The French are the ones that have kind of taken a lot of the hostility. To back up, if you remember the kind of Islamist terrorist organization, Boko Haram, which was famous for kidnapping hundreds of girls, they, under pressure, ended up allying with the Islamic State and creating kind of a new insurgent movement that operates throughout Central Africa and Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And the result has been enormous instability. So in 2020, you had a coup in Mali, and then again another coup in Mali in 2021. So the military junta is in charge over there. January 2022, you had a military coup in Burkina Faso. So the military junta is in charge over there. That kind of left Niger a little bit isolated. Niger had its first kind of peaceful, quote unquote, peaceful transfer of power in 2021 when President Mohamed Bazoum took over. I say peaceful in quotes because there were a lot of allegations of irregularities, and there was like a 10-day shut off of the internet, and a kind of brutal crackdown. And so to say that it was a perfectly peaceful transfer of power wouldn't be fair, but it was a peaceful transfer of power compared to some of the civil wars in the region in the past. So in Niger recently, you had a movement that's called M62, which people can look up, and it's fascinating kind of combination of civil society groups, the trade unions, and others who are frustrated economically, as well as frustrated at the kind of lack of success in the war against the new Boko Haram. And so you did not have the M62 movement kind of lead this coup, but you have seen them supporting the coup leaders. And also you've had a lot of people in the streets celebrating the kind of the French the kind of anti-French sentiment, and also then elevating Russia, saying that they would prefer to align themselves with Russia, which ought to be a huge wake-up call. That if you have people in the streets that are massing in numbers higher, anybody can bring a few people out in the streets and put a camera in their face, but if they're massing in high enough numbers that they're staying out there for several days and waving Russian flags, like you have a problem. And so there are now real concerns that we're going to have a war in Central Africa. You have countries, I think Chad is being encouraged to start sending troops into Niger to reinstall the president who's detained. There's this organization over there called the Economic Community of West African States, which is 15 countries, and several of those are the ones that are now have coup governments. The ones that do not have coup governments or are still aligned with the West are threatening Niger that they're going to send troops in and reinstall the president if they don't do that. But to go back to Libya, for instance, where did this all come from? In 2010, the United States and France decided that it was in our interest to go in and take out Gaddafi and insert ourselves and help produce a civil war that produced one of the most kind of famous hot mic moments from then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. We can roll R5 here.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Did it have anything to do with your visit? No, oh, I'm sure it did.
So that's in reference to the killing of Gaddafi. And so here we are now, more than 10 years out, kind of still living with the instability. The forces that were unleashed in Libya have created the kind of insurgency that is now spreading throughout the region that Russia is able to exploit. All of this, of course, on the backdrop of the shift towards clean energy. Africa being a source of the rare earth materials that China and the United States are competing for in order to power this transition to a clean energy economy. So, Emily, it hasn't gotten a whole lot of attention here in the United States. Certainly in France, it has. Macron has said that it's absolutely untrue that he's going to send troops in because the coup government, in order to kind of buttress its own kind of strength with the public, is warning, oh, the French are coming, because if you can elevate the boogeyman of Macron sending in troops, then they're hoping people will rally around them. He has said absolutely not. They're not going in there. But Niger is the kind of leading source of uranium for France, and France has a heavy nuclear industry economy. So it's unclear where this is going, but it looks like it's not going. Looks like it's not going in a very peaceful place.
Colonialism very much still with us, as the story shows pretty clearly. And the point you just made. Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.
Help us build independent news and get the full show every morning at breakingpoints.com.